Welcome to an episode of the Root Culturist. In this episode, we discuss more on identifying and troubleshooting weather-related stress. We have 4 different plants here, and each with their different weather-related stress. In this case, we have a Limpy bifurcatum. Limpy in the sense that it is not as firm. This is due to the weather being too hot. It also depends on the mounting. We are using a plastic drainage board which doesn't store as much moisture and allows the plant to dry quicker. This is generally not a bad thing, but it also depends on the type of species that you're keeping. Some prefer more water, some prefer less water. So close out this plant, you can see that the fertile fronds are limpy, and also the shoot fronds are just drooping slightly. A good soak in water, or even just spraying the plant down, would be one of the ways to troubleshoot this. In general, it's better to have a slightly limpy plant than an overwatered plant, because with a slightly limpy plant or slightly drier plant, you can actually troubleshoot it. If it's, for example, waterlogged or rotting, that is a bit trickier to rectify. Next, we have a radii, which has water-related stress. And then as you can see that the whole fronds have, the whole shoot fronds have turned black. So the trick to this is to dry it out completely. But as you have to keep the plant moist at the same time, it would be best to water from the bottom rather than watering head on. And we would say that if you want to try to dry the shoot fronds using either tissue paper or just turning on the fan. So how do you know when it's safe? The shoot fronds actually feels crispy to the touch. This is a case of extremely sunburnt hilii. So this hilii was grown up where there was a direct sun facing it, and so you get all these burn marks. And actually the holes here are the sunburn marks. So when the water are not dried off completely, the water droplets act as a magnifying glass and it burns the plant, and you can see the holes there. So when you spot this, it means that the plant cannot take too much heat, and it will be best to move it to a more shady area. So just take note of that. For this sun-related issue, shade will be better. Maybe just a morning sun in that case. But different staghorn have their different requirements. So we're just speaking based on heat-related stress, because spots also can resemble fungal infection. And when that happens, the plant do collapse quite rapidly. And so it would be best to do immediate treatment using fungal-related medication. Up next, we have a water-related stress. We show you how to identify and also what are treatments to do. We have a conarium here, and this part is actually starting to turn black. And what that means is that water is actually getting trapped inside, and eventually this whole layer would just completely turn black. So if you spot this sign, it means waterless, or for example, because conarium have quite thick leaves, and these thick leaves do store quite a bit of water. So don't worry about it, just always remember to monitor the growth point. In the next segment, we look at some old leaves, and this is a radii. You can see that there are new growth coming out over here, and these are the old leaves, because we had someone asking us, do you need to cut off the old leaves, or how do you do maintenance of the plant? In general, the old leaves would just fall off and you can add it to the back, just like what we're doing here. In our opinion, it's better not to cut any dead leaves, as the leaf still provides nutrient to the plant. One way to tell whether the leaves are ready is if you gently tug it, just like what we're doing here, and it would fall off. But in this case, this old leaf is still firmly attached to the plant, and so we just leave it on. So in the next example, we have a radii, which has a new growth and also some old leaves. This is quite typical of a healthy plant. We hope you enjoyed the whole segment. Like below if you liked it, subscribe to our channel, and also follow us on Instagram. We'd like to do a special shout out to those who have been sharing with us what they would like to know more about staghorns. See you in another episode of The Root Culturist. Thank you.